Well, hello my friends and happy Sunday. It's Shawn Petite and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Look at this wonderful autumn piece that we're creating today. Here are the supplies that we'll be using. Lots of good stuff. So I'm starting today's project on a 12 by 12 MDF board, and I'm using some vintage papers that I will have available for you in the resource library for free. So I'm just putting all of my papers down down with Liquitex matte medium. So I've got 2 sheets of papers. Actually, there'll be 3 in the resource library. Some fun ones for you to use. A couple that I made and one that's a vintage one. But I'm just putting everything down, getting everything covered with my Liquitex matte medium. All of the supplies will be listed on the blog, and the link to the blog is down below in the YouTube description box. Just smoothing everything out with a credit card because I know that I'm going to be doing some stenciling and I want this to be somewhat smoother than I typically prefer. So now I'm just grabbing some gesso and a palette knife, and I'm going to do some skipping across the surface of the papers. And one of the best ways to get a good skip or trowel mark is to make sure that your palette knife is flat against your surface. It gives you those little skipping marks, which I love. If you use the side of your palette knife, you don't get the same effect. So make sure it's flat if you want that effect. So now that everything is dry, I am grabbing some golden Van Dyke brown, which is suddenly my new favorite color. And I've watered it down and I'm just doing a wash. And I love doing a wash because it looks very unpredictable. It's not even, it looks grungy to me. I just love the look of it. I have a lot of control that I can pick it up and just kind of move it around, and there's a difference between a wash and a glaze. A wash is a little bit more unpredictable and rustic, and so that's why I wanted to go with a wash instead of a glaze. And I'm just kind of getting the right color and going back over it a couple of times with my watered down golden Van Dyke brown, picking it back up with a paper towel to get the right color. So now that I've got that down and everything is dry, I am scientifically marking out my circle for my wreath. That's kind of how I do things. I never measure a thing. I just kind of eyeball it and go for it. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm marking that out with my charcoal pencil, coming back in with that Van Dyke brown and a fine liner brush. And this is a Simply Simmons brush. And I really want to get this effect of kind of a grapevine wreath where it's loose. You can see the vines. You can see some of those little curlicues and things that stick out. I wanted it to be really, really loose because I wanted lots of space between my leaves so that you could see that vine underneath. And so that's what I was going for here. Now that I've got my vine wreath all painted out, time to break out the fall leaves stencil, and I'm just going to play a little bit here. I'm using all Lucas paints and acrylic paints, and I'm using some gorgeous, deep, rich, vibrant fall colors. I am mixing my colors as I stencil too, so I am grabbing a color and then adding some additional color, some orange or some maroon or some yellow, just to get some variation so that it doesn't look so flat and straight and stenciled. And I'll continue to do that all the way around the leaf, really working hard to leave space. And it's hard for me because I get going and I love what I'm doing and I love how it looks, and I can overdo it really quick. So I'm working hard to stay really light and not overpack the wreath with my leaves. So now that I have got my initial leaves down, now I'm taking some vintage papers and I'm going to stencil my leaves onto the papers, because one, that it's going to hide some of that background, and two, it's adding additional interest with those different papers. And really what I'm doing is I'm stenciling on the outside of the stencil so that I have the outline, but I'm leaving a lot of that paper in the middle showing through. Plus it also acts as like a highlight and gives the stenciled leaves some character, some interest, and I don't have to add any highlights because it's kind of naturally there by just going around the outline of the stencil. Once I get these all stenciled out, I will cut them out, and then I can play a little bit. It's easier for me to kind of move my leaves around once they're cut out and get them in place. And so I love doing this. I love how it turned out because it gives the piece more depth, gives it some more interest, that one next layer of paper and fun. And so I'm just laying all of my leaves that I cut out down with my Liquitex matte medium and working hard again to try and keep some of that grapevine wreath or vine wreath showing. Now that I've got all of the leaves down, I'm going to come back in and kind of connect things. Add some more vines where I might need them, connect leaves, add some more swirly bits and parts to really accentuate that grapevine and really have it feel very natural and kind of loose. I'm adding a tiny bit of veining to my leaves, not a ton. I want it to be super subtle because I'm loving how it's looking right now. So now that I've got everything in and all the vines painted out, I'm going to do the magic. I'm going to start shading around absolutely everything using my General's charcoal pencil in Extra Soft. now that I've got everything fairly shaded, I'm just doing a few last minute touch-ups, adding maybe some additional veining or different areas where I might have forgotten. I'm just adding my final touches here. So I'm just going to finish up the shading here, and I'm going to add some additional shading. I love how everything is looking, and I don't want to risk taking away anything with paint. So soft pastels are a great way to add color, add some additional depth or shading and interest without any fear. Because if it didn't look good, I could just get a wet rag and wipe it right up. But I loved how it looked, and so I just continued to add some additional shading around the edges. I even added some purple and color in there just to spice it up a little bit. And then I'll, of course, shade it with black. And then I'll put my words down with Liquitex Matte Medium. And that is it, my friends. Super simple, super fast and easy project, but gorgeous. I hope you enjoyed today's project. Stick around for the conversation at the end. It's a good one about letting go and how important it is for us in our growth. But again, I hope you enjoyed today's project. If you did, like and share and subscribe, and I will see you next week. All right, lovies, there she is. Is that not? Oh, those colors are right up my alley. Oh, I just love it. I love the leaves that I did on the paper just because it adds this little bit of variety. This was so simple, super, super simple. And I wanted to keep it simple just so that the saying, the quote would stand out. I went over everything in the video, and these two background papers are in the resource library for you for free. And then I also want to let you know too that I did make up this fall words, and these are winter words that you can cut out. You can see how I've cut them out and use them for my projects. Yeah, so that is available. That word sheet is also available in the resource library for free. So one thing I want to do before I move on to the meaning of this piece is this. So today, when you see this video, it'll be Sunday, and I just want to let you know that you have one more day left of the early bird registration for the Faces workshop. So the Faces workshop, these are what we create. These are the actual projects that we create. There's 3 of them that we will do. Where's the other one? Three projects that we do. Look at how gorgeous they are. But I go over in the workshop definition, defining, eyes, nose, and chin, shape, background. We go over all of that, collage. They're just so gorgeous. And we go over story and how you tell your story in your pieces and why it's so important as you create. So hop on over if you haven't already gotten the Collage Faces workshop. Get that. The supplies are super simple, not a lot that you need to create, so it's a really great and to the point workshop. And I've gotten feedback from students saying that the instructions are so easy to follow because a lot of people are afraid of faces, and I have been afraid of faces creating faces for a long time, and then I found my system for creating a great face every single time. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that you have one more day, if you haven't already got it, to get in on the early bird special price. And that'll be linked below in the YouTube description box. Okay, so this says, autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go. I love, love, love that quote. There's so much meaning to it. And so of course, I always look up the meaning of words, because there's just gold in there. I looked up let go, because that's the key to this, letting go. And let go is the synonyms are release, escape, remove, dismiss, surrender, relinquish one's grip. I just love those words, because this is all about letting go. I don't know where you are, but I know in my life there have been times where there are things that grip us tight. Old messages, old tapes, old words that somebody said that hurt you to the core years and years and years ago. Parents might have said something, who knows, a coworker. Maybe you tried something and you failed and you're hanging on to that. And all of those things that we hang on to hold us back. They keep us from moving forward. They keep us from taking another risk. They keep us from loving, from doing our best, from all of those things. And it's a daily practice to let go. Let go of things. Let go of the harsh words that people say. It's a constant practice. But it is so invaluable to our growth. We cannot grow if we're hanging on to whatever it is that might have hurt us, or whatever it is. We cannot move forward unless we let go. It's like an anchor. It holds us in the same spot. And it's tied to fear. Because of course we don't want that to happen again. We don't want that hurt, or that rejection, or that letter that came, or that phone call that came. We don't want that to happen again, because it's too much. It's too painful. It's too hard. And but we have to. We have to let it go, so that we can take a risk again, even how scary it is. I know. I've been there. I know it. Every day I know it. Because I take a risk every day in something, in talking to you. I take a risk every day of getting negative comments, which I do all the time, and I have to let that go, because it might hold me back from actually speaking in the videos, or speaking to your heart, or whatever. And so I just want to encourage you today, in this season of change that we're in this coming together, like I talked about in, I think it was the previous video, of this gathering together myself and getting to that quiet and contemplative place. This can go along with it, where we can really look at the things that might hold us back and let them go. Forgive. Smile. All the things that maybe you haven't been doing because of fear and because of the hurt or whatever that happened, let it go, and let it stop controlling your whatever. And so we're going to relinquish our grip on whatever it is. We're going to let go. We're going to open up our hand and we're going to let it go. We're going to release, and we're going to escape from that, whatever that is, that thing. All right, my loves, I hope your Sunday is awesome. I hope you check out all the new fall stencils and then the Faces workshop and all that. But most of all, I hope that you are moving forward, that you have already let go of whatever it is that's holding you back. And if you haven't, I pray today that you will, because you will feel so much lighter. It takes a lot of work to hang on to that kind of stuff. All right, my loves, I hope your Sunday is wonderful and restful and peaceful, and that you let go, and I hope that you always, always know that you are loved.